Welcome back to Old School Sports and our Out of the Park Baseball 26 Series Rescue, the Rockies. And the 2035 season gets underway today. Our Rockies are going for a threepeat, won the last two World Series championships and three of the last four for that matter. Some significant changes to the roster this offseason. Lost Colt Keith, and as many of you like to remind me frequently, we also made the decision to move on from a longtime slugger Gus Nieves. I'd say that is one of three big stories for the Rockies as this 2035 season begins. The first is whether we can position this team to go for a rare threepeat. Would be the first in baseball since the Yankees from 1998 through 2000. And we'll see if the Rockies can execute on that this season. The second is how much the loss of Gus Nieves will hurt us. He had a monster run with us in Colorado, and every time we check in on his replacement, we will try to remember to check in on Judge, Nieves, just to be fair. His replacement, as you probably figured out if you didn't know already, is Aaron Judge, who we signed for $12 million a year for 3 years, but we've got options for the next two seasons. So really just year to year with the fantastic soon-to-be 43-year-old, who, although he is wrecked physically, has absolutely amazing power for a player of his age. 720 career home runs, trailing only Barry Bonds with 762 and Hank Aaron with 755. 29 home runs last year for Judge with the Boston Red Sox. So if he hits that amount this season, he won't get past either of the only two players in Major League history who are still ahead of him. But when we think about playing DH hopefully every day and playing in Colorado, I don't think it's unreasonable to think that perhaps Judge will hit more than the 29 home runs this year than he did last year. As I noted, 35 to get Aaron and 42 to tie Bonds. I think those will both be a stretch. He did last year with his 29 home runs pass A-Rod, Pujols, and Babe Ruth on the list, though. So only two left for Judge to go. Thinking about statistics, he does lead the league in all-time strikeouts at this point with 2,884. George Krebs set the all-time record last year in 2034. Krebs, a youngster off to a very interesting start in his career with the Oakland A's, has led the league in home runs in each of his two major league seasons and also led the league in strikeouts in each of his two major league seasons. And when you look at those strikeout numbers that Mr. Krebs has put forward, he has the two highest strikeout years in Major League history in the first 2 years of his career. Noted that Gus Nieves is the guy that Judge will be replacing. Pex Nieves had an incredible run for us, over 300 homers in 7 years, led the league in both home runs and ribbies 4 of those 7 times. Switch hitter now with the San Diego Padres, 4 years, average of $43 million a season. Certainly there was a time last year and when the offseason began when we absolutely could have gotten Nieves for less than the money that the Padres have offered him. Just to be clear, I am not suggesting in any way, shape, or form by the fact that we kept or moved on from Nieves and replaced him with Judge that I think Judge is going to have a better season than Nieves. Judge for $12 million versus Nieves at $43 million is certainly a fair question. And I think even Judge at $12 million versus the $25 million or so that we could have had Nieves for these next several years is a number that absolutely favors Nieves over these next couple of seasons. My concern with Nieves was guaranteeing him third, fourth, fifth years of a contract at pretty big money heading into his mid to late 30s with a negative personality. And as amazing it is to see a player closing in on 43 years old like Judge with incredible home run power, I would be surprised if Nieves has that type of home run power 5 years from now, much less close to a decade from now. So it'll be interesting to keep following how the two of them do this year. So the quest for a three-peat, the decision I made on Nieves versus Judge, two big things that we'll be watching. And then the last, and this is something that the Worldwide Scouting Department is already focused on, is when will we actually promote Phil Dingwell? We have him in AAA working on learning how to play first base as a 23-year-old just to make him somewhat more versatile. He did struggle with just a 68 WRC plus after we promoted him to AAA last year, but he had a great trip working on generating bat speed in the development lab this offseason. And I don't think he's far away from being able to help us. But as I walked through at the end of last episode, when we look at Dingwell, he's obviously ready to handle left-handed pitching pretty well at the major league level. And he's certainly not going to embarrass himself, we don't think, against right-handed pitching. But when we look at our first baseman, DH, and corner outfielders, those are our 2 through 6 hitters with Ryan Stone, Kevin Roberts Jr., Ted Miller, the Judge, and Anthony Pack Jr. The only one that I think it's reasonable to say that Dingwell might be a better offensive player than right now is Anthony Pack Jr., who happens to be a Gold Glove winning center fielder with outstanding speed. So my thought is whether or not we had Nieves or Judge on the roster this year, it was going to be difficult for Dingwell to actually make the roster when all was said and done, with the fact that we decided to bring Anthony Pack Jr. for be our center fielder on an extension. But given that we are going year to year now on Aaron Judge, and Dingwell, as well as a few other young outfielders, are knocking on the door, it's not inconceivable that we could be one and done with Judge this year, open up a spot for Dingwell and others next year, open up a little more defensive versatility, and hopefully some more health. The hope is maybe somehow we get a shocking 43 home run season out of Aaron Judge, and he can retire with a world championship as the all-time home run leader after just 1 year in Colorado. I don't think all those things will happen, but that is why we play the virtual games. And with that, it's time to get this season started. I have an opening series starting today, 3 games against Arizona, and then we'll be on the road for 4 at San Diego before we finally have our first home game of the year, raise a world championship batter on Friday, April 6th against the Braves. See a lot of games against the Padres this month. Interestingly, after that first series against the Diamondbacks, 3 straight series in division against the Padres, we don't see the Dodgers or the Giants until May. And we've simmed through the first few weeks of the season. Not a particularly impressive start for our Rockies with an 8-9 record. As you can see, Gus Nieves in San Diego tied for the league lead with 6 home runs. Although even with his addition, the Padres at 4-13 are the second worst team in baseball right now, better than only the 1-16 Texas Rangers. Fortunately, despite our slow start, only 2 games behind the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks in the division. You can see Kevin Roberts Jr. off to a nice start leading the league in batter war. and Leo Martinez following up his Cy Young Award winning season a year ago with a nice start as well, leading the league in pitcher WAR in the very early going. Derby Mahez back from that injury. We've installed him as our third baseman against right-handed pitching and our first baseman against left-handed pitching. We waived and DFA'd Ariel Diego, sent him down to the minors as nobody picked him up, so he's in AAA and off of the 40-man roster at this point. And we finished off the month of April playing a bit better than we were in the early stages of the season. Pushed our record to 16-14, so 2 games over 500 as we get to May 1st. 3 games behind the Dodgers, tied with the Diamondbacks now. You can see Kevin Roberts Jr. Now ranks 3rd in batter WAR. Leo Martinez continues to lead the league in pitcher WAR as well as strikeouts and tied for the league lead in wins. Adonis Valer, our new closer, tied for the league lead in saves. So things have been going a bit better of late. Take a quick look at the team statistics. Our 16-14 record is actually 2 better than Pythagorean expectations. 2-0 in extra inning games, 7-3 in one-run games. After that 0-3 start we had in March, I did go 16-11 in April. But overall, a pretty average team this year. 8th in the National League in runs scored, 10th in the National League in runs allowed. Starters ERA ranks 12th, despite that fantastic performance we've gotten from Leo Martinez, although our bullpen ERA is the best in the National League. Defensively and zone rating kind of in the middle of the pack. Nothing particularly impressive there. So certainly not the greatest start that we've ever had to a season. You may remember Chris Tackett, a guy who ended up going in the second round in the 2034 draft, was a well-regarded prospect by some of members of the worldwide scouting department. He's off to a 4-0 start with a 1.29 earned run average in high A ball at the age of 19 years old. Unfortunately, according to our scouts, at least, looks like pretty average-ish major league pitcher is his ceiling right now. The OSA is still somewhat more optimistic on him than we are, but he was named the top pitcher in the MWL this past April. Speaking of top pitchers, not surprising that Leo Martinez, with his 4-1 record and 2.13 ERA, was named the National League Pitcher of the month for April 2035. And we'll check in on Pex Nieves and what he's been doing with the Padres. And through the first month of the season, definitely doing typical Gus Nieves things. 8 home runs, 18 ribbies through the first month of the season. Good for a 140 WRC plus and a 0.6 WAR. And unfortunately, our replacement for Gus Nieves, Aaron Judge, off to a brutally slow start. 4 home runs and 8 ribbies with a ugly 152 average through the first month of the season. And he struck out 46 times in 105 at-bats, so he has been a well below average offensive player, almost a win below replacement level. Certainly hoping that perhaps, given that he still has the ability to hit the ball out of the park, he starts doing that more frequently going forward. If not, could be time at some point in the season to pull the plug on the now 43-year-old being our everyday designated hitter and moving him to more of a supplemental role. Certainly doesn't seem that he's likely to get by either Aaron or Bonds with the slow start to his season, but hopefully things will heat up for Judge as the weather gets warmer. And we continue to basically play 500 ball, 18 and 17 record, 2.5 back here on May 7th. Meant to mention when we checked in midway through April that we did have a potentially interesting scouting discovery back on April 7th. Happy birthday to the 17-year-old Nicholas Ortiz. Looks like he could be a very interesting contact hitter with a good eye. Our scout thinks his upside is exceptional. Obviously, only going to realize that if he reaches his full potential, but with high adaptability and baseball IQ, the opportunity to have just plucked the 17-year-old out of nowhere, certainly favorable for our minor league organization. And we've gone 2-3 since the last time we checked in to have our record fall to an even 500 at 20-20, quarter of a way through the season. Some injury issues. Ezekiel Tovar, the veteran shortstop, hitting just a $179 this year, 4 homers and 12 ribbies. He finally, heading towards the age of 34, seems to be getting a little old, especially at the plate. Still a very good defensive player, still a great influence in the clubhouse, but he's wrecked physically and obviously going to be gone for the next 3 weeks. He is in the 4th year of that 5-year contract we signed him to. Does have a player option for next season if he continues to struggle and remains as brittle as he is. Would assume that he will exercise that option to be back with us next year. And waiting to hear about a diagnosis on Aaron Judge. Sadly, he's boosted his batting average to 164 since the last time we checked in. 5 homers and 13 ribbies on the season, but he's closing in on an major league record, 3,000 strikeouts. Seems like he's got a better chance of getting 3,000 strikeouts than he does getting to 763 home runs at this point, unfortunately. And the Aaron Judge experiment is likely over, and it seems very conceivable that at age 43 his career might be over. Broken kneecap for Aaron Judge, going to miss 5 to 6 months. So barring a very quick recovery for a 43-year-old and a long run for our Rockies in the playoffs, he is going to finish this year with a 164 average and 56 strikeouts, with just 5 homers and 13 ribbies in 134 at-bats. Fortunately, as we have been talking about in recent episodes, we do have some good young talent in the outfield in AAA, and have a feeling we'll be making a call-up of somebody to replace Judge for us for the near term and most likely forever. And to replace Judge, we called up the 23-year-old outfielder Kevin Wayment, former 13th round pick. Was hitting .297 with 10 homers and 20 ribbies for AAA Albuquerque. Gives us another left-handed bat to focus on against right-handed pitching. He definitely looks like he is ready to handle right-handed pitching at the major league level. So he will become our left fielder against right-handed pitching, and he's going to go right into the lineup as our number 5 hitter. Ted Miller will take over for Judge as DH and our cleanup hitter, and Ted Miller, the lefty batter, actually goes into the lineup against left-handed pitching as our designated hitter to replace Judge there as well. Derby Mahez, with the injury to Tovar, has taken over as our shortstop. And we called up Ariel Dihigo, who will be playing first for us against left-handed pitching to take care of that spot on the roster when Tovar went down. But the injury situation certainly getting worse. Tovar, hopefully we'll have him back in a few weeks. Starting catcher Mike Girard, still a month or 2 away at this point. And as we talked about, Judge is almost certainly done for the year, and it may be the end of his storied career. And the injury issues continue to get more dire. The reliever, Rich Hannon, going to be out for 5 weeks with an oblique strain. Bit of an off year for him thus far, with an ERA of 4.5 over 24 innings pitched for us. More meltdowns than shutdowns, which is very rare for him. So maybe something's been wrong with that oblique for a little longer than just a few days ago. Definitely putting some pressure on the pitching staff, though, because starter Dylan Jordan suspended for 6 games. You'll recall he missed most of last year with an injury. Came back this year after he opted into the QO that we gave him, and not off to a great start. 2-4 record with an ERA of close to 6. He's been below replacement level, and obviously his next start after he got suspended from yesterday in the very early going after throwing just 17 pitches is going to be pushed back an extra day. And we promoted the righty reliever Josh Joss, second-round pick of ours back in 2030, to the majors, almost 23 years old. 240 earned run average in AAA Albuquerque for us this year. And I think that his ground ball tendencies and his ability to keep the ball in the park should play reasonably well in Colorado. So Dandy Joss, at the age of 22, as I mentioned, just before his birthday, ready to make his major league debut, filling in for Hannon. You can see Martinez and Schultz both pitching reasonably well, but Dylan Jordan, Andrew Painter, and Iverson Castellano have not been great this year. Part of the reason why we're only 22-21. The bullpen overall has been pretty good for us, but certainly the starting pitching not as sharp as it was a year ago. And honestly, after that great start to the season in April, Martinez has not been quite as sharp here in the month of May. And we continue to play just above 500 ball as we pushed our record to 27-24, but 5.5 games behind and in 4th place, as the National League West much more competitive this year than it has been previous seasons. Tovar going to be out at least another 1 to 2 weeks, suffered a setback in his treatment from that herniated disc, so going to be a while until he is back on the diamond for us, unfortunately. And it's starting to seem like it may just be one of those years for the Rockies. Adonis Valer, the closer who we signed to an extension this past offseason, out for the year with a torn rotator cuff, going to miss spring training and the start of next year as well. Finishes his season with a 1.86 earned run average over 19 1/3 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts per 9 innings, had 14 saves for us, so was very successful for us while he did pitch, but unfortunately Valer's season is now over. Joining Judge is guys that we are unlikely to see until next season, and as we noted, certainly not inconceivable that Judge's career is over as well. And the lefty Dave Seibrecht, the former Rule 5 pick, who has a lot of injury issues throughout his career, was in AAA for us. He was not particularly effective there, with an ERA of 9 over 9 innings pitched, but admittedly a small sample size and early in the season. Certainly hoping that he can function for us as a capable reliever in the majors right now, as we continue to have issues with injuries here in 2035. And we've completed another month, made it to June 1st. Our Rockies still hovering just over 500 at 29-27, 7 games behind the Dodgers in the division, 3rd in the National League West. Only a game out of a wild card spot at this point, so we are still lurking in our efforts to get back to the postseason for a 10th straight year. Kevin Roberts Jr. having a monster year, leading the National League with a 371 average, an OPS of over 1,100, and a 4.0 batter WAR here just a couple of months into the season. Leo Martinez, in his effort for back-to-back Cy Young Awards, tied for the league lead in wins and leading the league in pitcher WAR right now, although his teammate Noah Schultz is leading the league in strikeouts. Roberts Jr., not surprisingly, was named the best hitter in the National League in May. Hit .413 with 8 home runs and 23 runs batted in. 2 months into the season, we will check in on our old friend Pex Nieves, hitting .264, 14 homers, and 30 ribbies for the Padres. So it looks like he's on pace for around 40 homers and around 90 ribbies, a 146 WRC plus. So when all is said and done, looks like the now 34-year-old is going to be putting up a pretty typical Pex Nieves season. It does seem, though, that his ability to make contact is getting a little bit worse than it's historically been, but still obviously much more productive this season than Aaron Judge was for us before he suffered that season and quite possibly career-ending injury. And as we sit here on June 1st, we kind of are what we thought we were. A 29-27 record, right in line with expectations. Only a .500 record for the month of May. Tied for 5th in the league in runs scored. Tied for 9th in the league in runs allowed. So still pretty much just a middling team overall. Certainly hope that things will improve going forward. Thinking about the injury issues, Hannon still a few weeks away, Tovar less than a week away, and Mike Girard still about a month and a half to go. Obviously not expecting that we will see Adonis Valaire or Aaron Judge again on the Major League roster for the Rockies this season. And with that, we will call it an episode. Next time around, we will play through the middle of the season and do our mid-season roster review, start thinking a little more seriously about what we might need to do in the trade market and who we might need to look at promoting from AAA to ensure that we can guide this team back to the playoffs and hopefully make a strong run at a three-peat here in 2035. Certainly not the most scintillating start to the season for the Rockies, but as I noted, just a game out of a wild card spot at this point, and hopefully with Tovar, Hannon, and eventually Girard rejoining the team over the next month and a half or so, the reinforcements will be coming, whether or not we are able to make any trades. Until our next episode, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.